Hello, Earth's warning signs. Earth's warning signs. There are 6 tipping points. tipping. Tipping points that could change everything. Very important. Extremely important regarding the climate change. ये climate change के लिए बहुत जरूरी है, हम लोग को सोचना बहुत जरूरी है. The 21st century has already witnessed extraordinary, abrupt, and potentially irreversible changes in the world around us. Irreversible, इसका मतलब क्या होता है? रिवर्स नहीं हो सकता है. एक बार हो गया, रिवर्स नहीं हो सकता है. So this is very important. Now, with the global warming now hovering around 1.2 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial level, means pre-industrial क्या होता है? 1850 से 1900 तक. So, humanity is facing some major changes in the earth system. ये changes क्या है? I'm giving some examples. The great Amazon rainforest is going through a drought system. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Amazon rainforest सबसे बड़ा forest है. It's a big forest, rainforest in the world, and that is a big carbon sink, and that is going through the drought. सूखा पड़ गया, उसमें तीन बार सूखा पड़ गया 10 साल में. The next one is some parts of the West Antarctic ice sheet. Antarctic ice sheet जो होता है ना, वो मेल्ट हो रहा है. It's melting away, and this can be irreversible process. ये भी irreversible हो सकता है, कभी वापस नहीं आएगा. And third one is coral reef die off are occurring in a larger way. Coral reef जो होता है ना, समुद्र के अंदर होता है, they are inside the sea and they are dying off because of the global warming and warming of the sea water. ये 3 चीज, only 3 things I am giving one example. In the next things we are coming back to the main points now. One great saying, एक बड़ा चीज बोल के गया था, that is the world is not behaving like a linear fashion. World is not behaving like a linear fashion. Instead, our expectations of smooth, predictable, and reversible changes are being confronted with a reality of abrupt, unexpected, and irreversible one. Predictable नहीं है. वर्ल्ड का जो भी चीज हो रहा है ये प्रेडिक्टेबल नहीं है, और ये प्रेडिक्टेबल नहीं है इसलिए क्या ये रिवर्सिबल भी हो नहीं सकता है. इरिवर्सिबल प्रोसेस है. द पेस एंड द स्केल ऑफ द अबव इवेंट्स, जो मैंने बताया पहले 3 चीज, इसके ऊपर भी बहुत कुछ है. अबव इवेंट्स बट नॉट लिमिटेड टू दिस इवेंट्स हैज स्ट्रॉन्ग रिलेशन टू द टर्म टिपिंग पॉइंट. ये टिपिंग पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टर्म है, सुन के रखिए. ये टिपिंग पॉइंट आज नहीं तो कल, विद इन 5 years ये टिपिंग पॉइंट ये सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा बनने वाला है. That's why today my video is on tipping point. Now, originally this tipping point was popularized by Malcolm Gladwell. Now, in recent days of climate change and global warming, the term tipping point is getting prominence. Why? According to the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change (IPCC), इसका definition है tipping point का. The tipping points are critical thresholds. Tipping points are critical thresholds in a system that, when exceeded, can lead to significant change in the state of the system. अगर वो निकल जाता है टिपिंग पॉइंट थ्रेशोल्ड से, इसमें सिग्निफिकेंट चेंज आ सकता है. ऑफ एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट द चेंज इज इरिवर्सिबल. अभी कभी ये हो सकता है ये चेंजेस इरिवर्सिबल, इसका वापस होता ही नहीं. सो इन दिस कंटेक्स्ट वी विल डिस्कस टुडे 6 मेजर टिपिंग पॉइंट्स. क्या होता है, उसका कंसर्न क्या है, व्हाट इज द prominence of these tipping points on the environment and climate change. Climate change is fueled by human activity. It's fueled by human activity in pushing the Earth system to critical thresholds known as tipping points. ये सारे चीज आदमी का द्वारा ही होता है और वो टिपिंग पॉइंट का तरफ पे हम जा रहे हैं. Here we will discuss about 6 major tipping points that demand our urgent attention. 6 major tipping points बात करूंगा जो हमारा immediate attention का जरूरत है. So one is melting of the ice sheets. Whatever we discussed, melting of the ice sheets. The polar ice sheets in Antarctica and Greenland contain huge volume of frozen water. Ice sheet क्या होता है? It just contains a huge volume of frozen water. As a global temperature rise is going on, the ice sheets are melting at an accelerating pace. Natural. Global temperature काफी fast grow कर रहा है and that ice sheet is melting at an accelerating pace. What we actually suspected initially. If a critical point is crossed, it could result in unstoppable collapse of ice sheets, causing a rapid increase in the sea level. What will happen? The ice sheets are melting. So what will happen? This water is going to the sea. And what is happening? The sea level is increasing and rapidly increasing because rapidly melting ice sheets. Now, once the threatening is happened and the melting has started out, what is happening? It will flood the coastal cities and the low-lying region of the all the cities in the worldwide. जितना भी शहर है, जितना भी low-lying cities है, it will be flooded. Now, it can be irreversible. And ये irreversible हो सकता है. It cannot be come back to the original position. And at 1.5 degrees centigrade increase in the global temperature. 1.5 degrees centigrade increase in the global temperature from the pre-industrial level. Whatever I told, what is pre-industrial level between 1850 to 900. अगर 1.5 क्रॉस करता है, it can be a devastating thing. And that is the threshold. Now, number two. Number two is Amazon rainforest degradation. Whatever have I told that Amazon rainforest is the biggest rainforest in the world. Now, this is 3.8 million square kilometer on the earth. 3.8 million square kilometer in the earth. See its vastness and see the carbon sink available there. The Amazon rainforest often referred to as the lungs of the earth. उसको lungs of the earth कहा जाता है. ये it takes all the things which is really bad for the earth to this carbon sink. That's why it is called the lungs of the earth and is under increasing stress from the deforestation and climate change. और इसमें क्या होता है? डिफॉरेस्टेशन हो रहा है एंड उसके लिए क्लाइमेट चेंज भी आ रहा है. सो अमेज़न रेन फॉरेस्ट हैज गॉन थ्रू 3 सीवियर ड्रॉट्स सिंस 2010 टू 2020. 2010 से 2020 का अंदर 3 सीवियर ड्रॉट्स आया है, सूखापन आया है उसमें. दिस हैज कॉज्ड ए लार्ज पार्ट ऑफ द कार्बन सिंक. फॉरेस्ट को कार्बन सिंक कहा जाता है ना. It has vanished. Now, reason क्या है? Reason is dry season. So, now beyond the tipping point, the rainforest may transition from a vibrant, biodiversified ecosystem to a drier and savanna-like states. Means क्या होता है? अगर वो टिपिंग पॉइंट क्रॉस कर जाता है तो थ्रेशोल्ड है उसका क्रॉस हो जाता है. It may be a savanna like thing. Savanna क्या होता है? Is a lot of greeneries which are apart, away, in between something has dried up. काफी कम हो जाता है. Density of the trees are much less. So now we are coming to the point number 3. Point number 3 is very important. Permafrost. Thawing permafrost. Permafrost क्या है? This is the permanently frozen soil in Arctic region which is holding immense quantities of organic matter. permafrost. ये एक frost like है, icy like चीज है below the ground at the area where Arctic regions are there, and this is holding a lot of carbon in a solidified states. As the temperature is rising, so what is happening? This permafrost begins to thaw. What is meant by thaw? It is changing state from solid to liquid slowly. So वो जो frozen कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है, ये धीरे धीरे कार्बन है, ये धीरे धीरे मेल्ट हो रहा है. Now releasing methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas into the atmosphere. ये क्या होता है? It is releasing methane. Methane is also a very prominent and potent greenhouse gases. So this is basically creating a feedback loop. Feedback loop, what is a feedback loop? The more it is melting out, the more methane is evolving. The more methane is evolving, the more greenhouse gas is producing. The more greenhouse gas is producing, the more global temperature is rising. The more global temperature is rising, the more permafrost is melting. Very easy. That's why we are calling it a feedback loop in the permafrost situation. Now number 4. Number 4 is very reasonable thing. Monsoon. Monsoon system is getting disrupted due to higher global warming. Getting disrupted. Really, if you see all over the world, there is no system of the monsoon now. At any time, any moment, it is coming and going back. And what is the major drawback of this monsoon system? Changing of the monsoon system is the affecting the farmers. And affecting the farmers, what does it mean? इसका मतलब क्या होता है? It means that the farmers cannot grow that amount of grain which is required for our livelihood. So it is actually affecting the global food supply in a more complicated way. We must understand this. This is actually complicating the global food supply process. Now additionally, this is one of the major reasons for Amazon rainforest depletion. This monsoon, change in the monsoon system is also depleting the Amazon rainforest. So it has two things at a time affecting the whole thing. Now, number 5. Number 5 is the disruption of the ocean circulation. Ocean circulation क्या होता है? Ocean के अंदर भी actually hot and cold circulation चलता रहता है. Always the hot water comes up and cold water goes down. That is circulation. It is a ocean circulation. It is called AMOC. AMOC. AMOC क्या होता है? What is AMOC? Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. It is basically the polar ice melts and the fresh water inputs increases. Disruption to ocean circulation patterns become a concern. So when the polar ice melts and the fresh water input increases, it is disrupting the ocean circulation pattern in a very natural way. And this is like a global conveyor belt. It's a global conveyor belt. It's coming from that side and going back to this side. Now, some calculation have already shown that this AMOC has already weakened approximately by 15% in last 50 years. The AMOC should not be weakened. The disruption of the ocean circulation should not be weakened, but it has already weakened by 15% in last 50 years. And if it actually stops, what will happen? अगर ये completely बंद हो जाता है, ये ocean circulation stand still में आ जाता है, what will happen? If a AMOC coming into the halt, the sea level can rise dangerously up to 20 to 30 centimeter. Dangerously. And this will really cause a lot of cities nowadays which are on the above the ground to go down below the sea level. Now let us understand it. Very important thing. The potential tipping point involves a weakening and collapse of AMOC, Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, which could have a far-reaching effect on the global weather patterns. So this is the number 5. And number 6 is loss of Arctic ice sheet. Arctic sea ice sheet. So loss of Arctic sea ice acts as a reflective surface. ये जो आर्टिक सी आइस है ना, इट्स वर्किंग एज ए रिफ्लेक्टिव सरफेस that helps regulate the Earth's temperature by bouncing sunlight back to the space. Sunlight जो आता है ना, उसको रिफ्लेक्ट करके back to the space, space में निकाल देता है. अगर वो शीट मेल्ट हो गया, what will happen? As the ice sheet melts, the darker ocean water absorbs more heat and accelerating the warming. So ये ice sheet निकल गया, what will happen? The sea water is getting more heat and it is getting more warming. Now, a tipping point in Arctic sea ice loss means tipping point. Arctic sea ice loss में क्या होता है? A rapid and irreversible changes affecting weather patterns and livelihood of the Arctic communities. So, it is really affecting the weather changes. You understand that the sea is melting and then sea water is getting the heat and sea is getting heated up and it is getting a lot of evidence in the climate change. So that is the tipping point. But what is the solution? After these 6 points we discussed, what is the solution? The solution, these tipping points underscore the urgency of ambitious climate action. It needs a ambitious climate action from the all government and industry side. Point number 1. Point number 2, mitigating greenhouse gas emission. Mitigating greenhouse gas emission. Preserving ecosystem and adapting a inevitable changes are imperative. That is most important. The global community must collaborate to prevent these tipping points from being crossed. ये tipping points को cross करने के देने के नहीं है. And how to do it? That we have to think very detail. In detail, we have to think how we have a signal that the tipping point is really very nearby. Please control ourselves. Please stop the fossil fuel burning. Please increase the renewable energy sources. The choices we make today will determine the fate of the critical earth system and our next generations to come. I take this opportunity to invite you to comment on how we can avoid the tipping points. I really invite all of you to comment on how we can avoid tipping point. And also, I invite you how we can devise an early warning system that well before tipping points are reached. And these are the most important things. I am Vivek Roy. I am an energy professional and power professional, and I am an emotional energy expert from Dr. Daniel Goleman, USA. See you in the next videos. Till then, see you. Bye.